What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. So we're going to do another what's sold, and we're going to cover clothing. All of these items were found by me at either local thrift stores or the Goodwill outlet bins. I'm going to pop them up on the screen. I'll tell you where I got them, what I paid for them, how long they took to sell, and approximate net profit. Now, a lot of people are afraid to sell clothing. They think it's long tail. But if you run your comps, look at sell-through rates, it's not necessarily the case. A lot of these sold fast. So I appreciate you watching, and let's get started. My first item up is just a pair of vintage gloves. Found it at a local thrift store. Paid $1 for these. They sold in 3 days for $14.75 plus $4 shipping. I netted approximately $11. Not big profit, but when you get stuff that's cheap and you can make 10 or 12 bucks off it, that can often pay for your haul from that store. So sometimes the small little numbers are definitely worth it. Alright, here's another pair of gloves. Found these at the Goodwill bins. These are children's, size small, in the North Face brand. Very lightweight. Probably cost me, let's say, 25 cents. Sold for $12.75 in 3 weeks, and I netted approximately $10. Now, a lot of people, here's my theory on going to the Goodwill outlet bins with things like this. A lot of people would pass on and say, nah, that's a $10 or $12 item. I'll say, no, that's a strong brand. It's in very good condition, so it's going to sell. And even if I make what I make $10 on it, typically when I go to the bins, I might get 5 to 8 pounds worth of stuff at $1.75 a pound. Sometimes I even get less. So I'm spending anywhere from $5 to say $15 on a trip there. Well, if I made $10 off these gloves, that practically probably didn't even cost me anything, because if you throw them into the bag of 5 pounds, these gloves aren't going to change the weight. So 25 cents, or you can even say free, that $10 I made off these little gloves covered me for the day. That's how I look at these small lightweight things that I like to pick up on every trip. Right here we have another small lightweight item found at the bins. This was a vintage embroidered, and it was like in a greenish blue iridescent color, silk bow tie made in England. Very cool. It had the handkerchief, pocket square, whatever you want to call it. Thought it was interesting. Again, very lightweight. Figured eventually it would sell. So I'm going to say I paid 25 cents for this. Sold in about 5 weeks. Took an offer on eBay for $15 plus 4 shipping, and I netted $13. Sticking with ties and small things from the bins, here's some more bow ties. I found a bag of 7 ties that were brand new with tag from Brooks Brothers. When I got home, I weighed them, and all 7 only weighed about like 5 ounces. There was nothing to them. So at $1.75 a pound, we're talking like, let's say 50 cents for all of them. So this first lot, there was 2 duplicates. So I made it, one listing with a quantity of 2 for these 2 ties. So the first lot of 2 sold for $22.75 plus $4 shipping. Sold in 3 days. And I netted about $20 on that first lot. Then a buyer bought the second lot along with another lot of 3, and that covered all 7 ties. So this lot sold in 4 days. It sold the very next day for $57.50 plus 4 shipping, and I netted $50 on this sale. So altogether, from the 7 bow ties I found at the bins, I paid probably 50 cents for them, and it turned into $70 in profit. Here's a strong brand, Lululemon. This was actually a pair of men's. It was almost like a khaki type feel to them. There weren't yoga pants or anything like that. And I paid $1 for these at a local thrift store that does $1 clothing all the time. Took about 8 months to sell. Very long for Lululemon. Took an offer on eBay for $40 plus 7 shipping. I netted about $32. Here's another pair of Lululemon. These are the women's like capri yoga pants. Found these at the Goodwill bins. So say 50 cents for cost. They sold on Poshmark for $26, and I netted about $20. Here's a pair of jeans. The brand is called Miss Me. These are women's jeans. I often pick them up. Well, this brand I will pick up. A lot of brands with the heavy stitching, the embezzlement, the embroidery on the pockets. That's kind of a good style. So these cost me $1 at the local thrift that does the dollar clothing sale. sold in 3 weeks. They sold on Poshmark for $24 and I netted $18. Alright, so these I talked about in a thrifting vlog of mine where I did like 3 days in a row at the bins and I showed what I got each day, and if anything sold the previous day from what I picked up, I showed it, and these were the items. So these Bart Simpson, they were like this big. They were wrapped up in little plastic magic t-shirts. You sink them in water and they expand into a regular shirt. So they were vintage. They were dated 99 on the back. I found 6 of these. So this one, size XL, sold individually for $16.75 plus $4 shipping, and I netted about $14 on that. Later the same day, because this, for some reason, these were a hot item, I was getting all kind of messages. I went back and forth with someone because I only had a couple of the different sizes, the small and the mediums, and I only had one listed at the time. And he asked me if I have any more, and I said I did. He just didn't list them yet. So we went back and forth. We worked out a deal where he bought all 5 that I had. There was like 3 smalls and 2 mediums. So these sold the very same day. I took an offer of $70, free ship, and I netted about $52. Alright, here's a Fox Racing, good solid brand. They do like BMX motocross type stuff. And this was a very lightweight jersey. Picked this up at a local thrift store for $3. That store that I go to there sometimes is a little bit higher in price, but sometimes you can find good things. So this sold in 4 days, $15.75 plus 4 shipping, and I only netted about $10. Okay, here's a good brand, fishing brand called Huck, H-U-K. They make shoes, shirts, stuff like that. And I paid about 50 cents for this at the Goodwill bins. Very lightweight, kind of like that, like a rash guard type shirt material. This sold in 3 days, $18.75 plus $4.50 shipping, and I netted roughly $16. Okay, here was a great sale. Don't mean to be repetitive. This was also in that vlog where when I found things and I would show you what sold right away. And I kind of showcased this because it was such a solid find. And I showed like the website and everything because it was so expensive. This was Stefano Ricci luxury dress shirt. It was a silk shirt. Found at a local thrift store for $5. I bought it the same day I bought that Fox Racing that I just showed you. This sold in 2 days. I took an offer on eBay for $150 with free ship, and I netted about $123. Alright, here's another solid good brand. Everybody knows about it. The North Face. This was just a quarter zip pullover. Found this at the Goodwill bins. So by weight, let's say a pound, cost $2, $1.75. We'll call it $2. Took about 4 months to sell. Sold for $21.75 plus 8 shipping, and netted roughly $16. Okay, here's another solid brand. I also showed this probably in a video, but I didn't really go over the numbers. I just told you that it sold and to look out for this brand. It's called Helmet Lang. I typed it right on the screen for you. This was like a quarter lace-up pullover jacket. Very lightweight, almost like a windbreaker, but more of like a cotton material with a hood. Found this at the Goodwill bins, so about $1.50 if that. Sold in 1 day. On Poshmark, I took an offer of $70. I couldn't find any comps on this, and I looked pretty hard through Google and other websites. And I listed it like at $120. I knew it was a solid brand. And when I got an offer of $70, no reason to hesitate. I just jumped right on that. So I netted about $54. So here's a Pittsburgh Steeler. The brand was Majestic. Just a quarter zip pullover long sleeve. I found this at the Goodwill bins for about $1. Took 5 months to sell. Sold for $17.75 plus 4 shipping, and netted about $14. NFL stuff obviously is in season right now, and Pittsburgh Steelers are one of the best teams, or if not the best team right now. So this stuff is selling. And lastly, here is a vintage windbreaker snap button up. Found this at the local Goodwill bins. Let's call it about $1.50. It was just under a pound. Took 2 weeks to sell. Sold for $28.75 plus 7 shipping, and netted about $24. Alright, so I think that was 15 or 16 items. Out of all these items, my total buy cost, $21. After fees and recouping my buy cost, these items brought me a net profit of approximately $4.95. So you can see clothing can be very profitable. Thrift stores, that is the most abundant item out there, clothing. Don't be scared of the clothing. 8 items sold in under a week. So not necessarily long tail like everybody says. 4 sold in between 1 week and 1 month. And 4 took longer than a month. So that's a good solid spread. So clothing can be profitable. It's probably like my highest thing in my inventory. I would say my inventory is like 70 to 80% clothing. And you can make money. So I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.